Hey everybody, everything new under the sun here. I've got a video compilation for you, and it's mainly about it is about the Harvest Maid food dehydrator. And so I did a few single videos before, and I've got a lot of viewers since I originally did these videos. So I figured I'd put them all together, line them up, and I go through dehydrating tomatoes, dehydrating some coconut, which you see there. You'll see later in the video with the full audio there. And then I've also got the video where I'm dehydrating and drying out / freezing apple slices, which the kids really like. Their little apple chips. So stay tuned. Watch the video. You'll see the 3 different clips there that I previously made. I figured I wouldn't reinvent the wheel and just show you what I've put out there before, especially for all the new subscribers, like I say, who haven't seen that yet. So anyways, guys, I'll leave it there. Continue watching, and we'll talk to you in the next video. So I'm going to dehydrate these tomatoes, so I'm slicing them up thick. I sliced the first bunch up too thin, and they dried out too thinly. The second batch I did a bit thicker, and it worked better. I'm going to put these into my dehydrator, which we'll see in a bit. These are all frozen tomatoes from last season. Most of the frozen tomatoes we're going to process up and make them into sauces and such, but these bunch I want to try dehydrating since I fixed my dehydrator. So I got the bowl here. I'm going to start spreading it on the dehydrator racks. And it's fairly simple. You just spread them out on there evenly, one layer. It's ideal if they don't touch each other, but I don't get too fussy about the arrangement of them. This is some of the thicker stuff, the second that ended up better than the first tray. This is the loud dehydrator in action here. It's got my hair blower running in it from the other video where I fixed it up. The original fan had died in it. That's why it's so loud. So I have it downstairs on top of an old freezer. So it's working away, dehydrating the tomatoes. These have been in here for an hour probably, and they're dehydrating already, obviously. And they were put in there frozen, basically. So here I'm just picking the dried tomatoes off the rack. Some of the thinner ones were a bit harder to get off. They're a bit more stuck to the rack than the thicker ones. Thicker ones certainly work a little bit better, but you do need to clean the racks a little bit after. Usually just wash and brush them off a little bit. These are the thicker ones, or they ended up coming off a lot more cleanly. These are just like potato chips, actually they're so dry. The next thing is I put them in the freezer. They suggest to put them in the freezer and give them a good freeze, and that kills any germs that may still be on them, or bugs or whatever, the flies that got into them. And then I packed them into, the next morning I packed them into a jar. And we'll keep this in the cupboard, and we'll use this in our pizzas and other recipes. Solid state, it's probably not in focus. Solid state dehydrator. It's got your toggle for your temperatures here, color coded. It's got the on off switch. I think I did a video on this before, but anyways. And it's got your different settings for dehydrating. Now I've got apples in here, and I'll show them to you in a sec, but it calls for 135 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's an orange color, so basically up here you gotta pick the orange color on the scale. So it's just a scale like this that goes up and down. It's a ballpark. And so in here we processed all the apples like you saw, got them all on trays, and so you can see we have all the apples. Now I put a little bit of cinnamon, some brown sugar just for fun, and some lemon juice. Lemon juice should keep them a bit whiter and don't let them go as brown in the dehydrator. So I got 5 trays of these, and the kids helped me make them, obviously. And so I'll turn that back on. If this is I did a video where I hacked this one up. The fan broke on me on this guy, and I replaced the fan with a hair blow dryer. It's actually in the back. And then on top of that, I have a computer fan as well that helps circulate the air. So it's a bit of a hack job there, but it works. And that's why it's so loud, actually. It's not normally that loud, but it is loud. So I'll turn it on, and by this time tomorrow morning, this should be all dehydrated. It takes about, I think it's 8 to 14 hours. I would think more about 12 hours for it to dehydrate. Alright, the last step of the dehydration project, I'm turning that up, for dehydrating what were my apples, is to put them in little baggies. So I took them off the racks when they were dry, put them in little baggies, and what you do is you put them in the freezer, give them a good deep freeze, because what that does is it kills any bacteria or bugs that are on them, potentially. Kills what it can kill anyways from freezing, and they're not 100% sterilized, but they are ready for storage. Now you can take these out, as far as I read, and then store it in your cupboard. I generally just leave them in the freezer, but I'll open one up here. And these are delicious. So it feels very light. It's almost freeze-dried, really. And, it's like freeze-dried. It's like a dry candy. A little bit sweet and a little bit tart. I have some lemon and cinnamon on there. That's what gives it the color, the brown speckly color. But yeah, they're delicious, and they're a bit freeze-dried. So, because I dried them out so well, I probably didn't need to dehydrate them so much. It's kind of nice when they're a little bit chewier as well, but anyways, that's kind of the end to the apple chip dehydrating process. So, the steps from top to bottom are you cut up and peel your apples, you sprinkle in, a tablespoon or 2 of cinnamon, depending how you like it. A little bit of lemon juice, and that just keeps the color lighter when it dehydrates. Although the cinnamon just made it darker brown again. And then they're flavored fruit candies, fruit snacks, all natural, no added sugar, and they should last a good number of months in the freezer or outside of the freezer after you've frozen them. So you freeze them overnight, make sure they have a good freeze, then you can take them out, and they should last in your cupboard for a good number of weeks or even a couple months anyways. So that is my apple snack recipe. By way of a tiny update here, this is my Harvest Maid Dehydrator. I rescued this. The fan was busted. You can go back and watch the videos, but I took it apart and I put a hair dryer in here to make it work. So it does work. It's loud. I'll turn it on so you can hear the noise of it. So that's the actual hair dryer going on, and it works. It works all by thermostat. I all wired it all in. I've got an extra computer fan going on the back here just to help um, circulation. But what I want to show you is what I got going on in here right now. It's obviously not harvest season, and this is actually coconut. So we got coconut for the kids as a bit of a learning experience where we thought it would be a good idea to get some different fruits from all around their world and just teach the kids what they are and what they taste like and find out about the natural candy that God created. It's really cool. We didn't eat it all though, so I thought would try dehydrating it and kind of make dehydrated coconut bits, so that we can. This would work well as just like hard candy. This is the original hard candy, if you want to look at it like that. I'm going to dehydrate it a little bit more. It's been dehydrating for probably 12 hours, so I'm going to do it a little bit more and see if I can. I'm looking. I see some white color and I see some clear color. I'm going to keep dehydrating until I get more of a all clear color and a little bit harder, and then I'll probably just put it in a Ziploc and I probably won't freeze it, and we'll just eat it like candy. So that's one way to, with dehydrator, you preserve your vegetables and fruits, and this is just one more way to preserve coconut that you don't eat all of. So just for the homesteaders out there, I wanted to put it out there. Again, this is my Harvest Maid solid state dehydrator. I love this thing. After a little bit of work, it works excellent, and it works. It dries stuff in about 12 to 14 hours. It depends how big the things are that you're dehydrating. But yeah, it works really great, and I will be using it this harvest season, of course, to dehydrate all sorts of things, tomatoes and some other fruits. We like apples. When the apples were ready to harvest, I dehydrated lots of those, and those work really good as a storable food. Now, in this day and age, we don't eat them as much as we should, but back in the day, that was your fruit. You dehydrated it and you preserved it. So we don't eat as much as today now as I would like, but it works well. I use this all the time, and so I'm gonna put this back in and let it keep dehydrating. And I just want to give you that little update there about the food dehydrator. I still use it, and it works excellent for me, flawlessly. Even with the hair dryer in there, it's buried in here. Obviously, it's right in here where the original element was. And then, like I said, I just have just a computer fan on the back, and that just helps the air circulate a bit better inside. It is a little loud, but hey, the blow dryer cost me $5, I think, from a secondhand store, and it saves me going out and spending $200 on a new one of these. And this is a good high capacity one, and it works just perfectly. It's fully analog, none of this digital stuff, and you basically just match the color or temperature up here to the listing of what you're trying to dehydrate: bread, crafts, fish and seafoods, flours, fruits, herbs and spices, jerkies, and it goes on yogurt drying and all that kind of stuff. So love this thing, Harvest Maid. And that's a little bit how I'm using it right now outside of harvest season to dehydrate some coconut. So I hope that gives some ideas for the homesteaders. You don't have to just wait till harvest season to use your dehydrator. You can use it all year round, pretty much. If you get something from the store, there's no reason why you can't dehydrate something from the store and preserve it if your kids don't eat it all. The other option is, of course, to feed it your chickens, so you're not wasting it. But in this case, it's even better not to feed it your chickens, but actually to eat it later in a bit of a candied form. So, like I said, that's your homestead update for the day. Thanks for watching.